Hello, I'm in conversation with Dr. Padmini Shankar and Dr. Meera Srinivas of the English and Foreign Languages University of India in Hyderabad. They are one of we're the co-presenters with British Council for the TEC series of conferences. Dr. Srinivas, if I could quickly ask you, what is the value of a conference like this from the EFL-U's perspective?
Right. As you know, that EFL University draws students from different countries as well as from different regions of this country. It's a national university. So we have students from different communities, different rural areas, remote areas in our university. And obviously, they do a lot of research in their own regions, located in their specific contexts, on perhaps tribal languages or tribal literature, whatever it might be. So, for us faculty members, it becomes important that we understand their perspective and help them complete their research projects in the proper perspective that they have adopted for it. Therefore, an understanding of diversity and what its implications are for teaching and learning and for research is extremely useful for all of us. Also, we do a number of training programs at the university, as you're aware of. Basically, it's a training university, and we get teachers from districts and from remote areas with their own problems which need to be addressed in a sensitive manner. And I think such a conference, for me personally and for all the members in the university, it will give us a better perspective on the issues of diversity and help us address these concerns in a more meaningful way in our training programs.
Dr. Padmini Shankar, if I might ask you, what was the procedure through which you selected the papers presented at this conference?
Well, we had very well defined criteria, a set of criteria on which we selected papers. We had basically three criteria, if I recall well. One was the paper being relevant to the conference theme, and then, of course, because it's a teacher educators conference, we sort of wanted to ensure that it has implications for teacher education, each of those papers, and of course, the coherence and you should be able to develop an argument and sustain it through a set of arguments and present it should have that potential to make sense to the audience. So we were looking at interest quotient as well as relevance quotient.
Dr. Padmini Shankar, if I may ask you, what were the criteria that you used to select papers for this particular conference?
Well, it was a very rigorous process of selection. We had very clear-cut set of criteria in place, which themselves were discussed upon and deliberated upon in the committee. And we arrived at three main criteria. One of them is, of course, relevance to the conference theme. The second one is, of course, coherence of in terms of language and being able to hold an audience and all that stuff. And thirdly, we ensured that the papers have some implications for teacher education, because this is a conference on teacher education. So we first received the abstracts and we looked at them theme-wise. There were several sub-themes actually, which can be conceived in terms of three main themes: institutional context and home school language switch and socio-economic context. So we received some hundreds of abstracts, and they were all put through a rigorous process of scrutiny with these criteria in place. And we sent out of these abstracts, some of them were accepted straight away, some of them were accepted conditionally with suggestions for improvement, which were quite clearly indicated to the abstract senders, and then they came back to us, some of them, with the suggestions indicated. So there was a second round of scrutiny of these abstracts, after which some of them were selected.
Thank you so much. Would you like to add your comments to the selection procedure? I think there was a blind vetting.
Yeah, there was blind vetting at all stages, both the stages of the selection process.
Would you like to explain blind vetting a little bit?
Blind vetting actually meant that, as Padmini has already indicated, we had three themes. So there were three sets of vetters, as you would like to call them, and each set of team of vetters we were three in each team rather, and we looked at it together and individually and arrived at our own decisions about which ones to accept and which ones to send for revision. And this process happened for all the three themes. So in all we had about 8 or 9 members in this team of vetters. So that went through a very rigorous process. Another point that I would like to add, Dimanjan, we received as many as 280 to 90 abstracts. And after we rejected a few for whatever maybe the reasons, we managed to have as many as 180 presentations. Another interesting thing about these abstracts, they were all sent by our local teachers, college teachers, people who are in the field, and they themselves do not know what kind of rigorous process of abstract vetting happened, and what kind of a process it was subjected to. For them, I think it's a wonderful achievement that they've managed to get their abstracts accepted and presented in this conference. Right. That's an important thing. Really, we've had the voices of the people in the field in the presentations.
Dr. Padmini Shankar, what is the relevance of this conference to your professional context?
Well, I can go on and on about the relevance. First and foremost, I'd like to mention here that it's a conference on diversity, which is actually a reality for us in our context. If you looked at the themes of the conference, they have covered a range of themes, like for instance, role of L1 culture, and how do we sort of impart education in a multilingual, multicultural context, several themes. And another major contribution, which in fact Meera and I were in fact talking about, was lots of these papers are actually from real contexts, mostly from engineering college faculty, who have actually come with data of the work that they have done in their own specific context. So in a way, I'm very, very happy about two things. One, the conference, I think now I can say with confidence, the last day of the conference, that it has addressed the issue that it actually has set out to address in terms of reaching a diverse range of themes as well as a diverse range of people and meeting their expectations. In fact, this afternoon over lunch, we were talking to one or two people, informally trying to understand the feel of the conference. Yeah. And we were happy to say, and I hope it's not an overstatement if I did mention this, that they did feel quite happy about it. One, content-wise, they said it's very satisfying, which of course is a point worth taking for us as organizers. Yes. And two, the range. They also mentioned about the range of issues that the conference was able to cover. So both as a member of faculty and as a member of the organizing committee and as a researcher, on an individual basis as well, I'm very happy because it has contributed a lot to my own professional growth and my own students' growth, because we had a lot of takeaway value from the several presentations in the conference. Keynote speeches, plenary sessions, lots of things for us, for me personally, and for my own research students. So it is a very, very relevant conference for us.
Thank you so much. Dr. Srinivas, if I may ask you, you have been involved with all the three tech conferences that we have had. How would you compare this latest edition of the conference?
Well, I think we are all learning by the year, as I would say, both in terms of number of people who have participated in the conference and in terms of the arrangement, organizing. I think this has been the most successful of the three conferences. We've not only had people from different walks of life, different regions participating in it, but as Padmini has already mentioned, the quality of the presentation has certainly been very good this year. Probably something to do with the theme of the conference, which has touched the hearts of many people. And everyone has something to say about this diversity, because it is at the root of our existence here. But also because, again, the abstracts were subject to a very rigorous process of selection, and I think that has contributed substantially, I would say, to the quality of the presentation. We have had a wonderful academic, I would say, exchange, interaction, and just over lunch, I was talking to one of lecturers who participated in this, and she said it very clearly. She said it was absolutely great in every sense of the term. Right. And she was happy about the content and, of course, the organizing. And I think that pleases all of us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Padmini Shankar and Dr. Meera Srinivas.
Thank you.
Thank you.